Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is participating in the second edition of the Africa-Russia Summit in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. Some African leaders arrived in Russia for the two-day summit with President Vladimir Putin as the Kremlin seeks more allies amid the fighting in the Ukraine. The details.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived in the Russian city of St. Petersburg to attend the second edition of the Africa-Russia Summit. President al-Sisi is also scheduled to hold summit talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of the summit to probe bilateral ties in a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern. The discussions come within the framework of the close and distinguished ties that bind the two countries and their keenness to strengthen bilateral cooperation and continue intensive consultations on international and regional issues of common interest. Some African leaders arrived in Russia for the two-day summit, which Putin has billed as a major event that would help bolster ties with a continent of 1.3 billion people that is increasingly assertive on the global stage. Putin's foreign affairs advisor, Yuri Yushkov, said that while only 17 heads of state will attend Thursday's summit, 32 other African countries will be presented by senior government officials or ambassadors. A number of economic, trade and cultural activities, including the Economic and Humanitarian Forum, will also be held on the sidelines of the summit. The summit aims at supporting and deepening the distinguished and historical relations between the African continent and Russia. This in addition to enhancing consultation between the two sides on how to address common challenges, bearing in mind that the second edition is to include holding two plenary sessions and a final declaration is to be issued. Presidential spokesman Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said the Afro-Russian Summit was inaugurated in 2019 under the Egyptian presidency of the African Union. It is the second Russian-African Summit since 2019, which was held in the Russian city of Sochi under the Egyptian-Russian co-presidency.
The launching ceremony of the first comprehensive program in Egypt and the Arab world to develop entrepreneurship centers in Egyptian universities was held at the Arab League. Many senior officials attended the ceremony. Nile TV International's Basma Taha was there and filed in this report.
Under the auspices of the Arab League and the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport, the launching ceremony of the first comprehensive program in Egypt and the Arab world was held at the headquarters of the Arab League. Many high-ranking officials attended the event. The program focuses on increasing the skills of managers and members of entrepreneurship centers in Egyptian universities and also enhancing the necessary talents that enable them to create successful programs.
This is one of the projects, very important projects that reflects how the Academy is keen about the youth and setting in their minds the entrepreneurial way of thinking. How can they have their own projects? This will help in the economic development of our country, Egypt, and our Arab nation. That's why we are here today under the umbrella of League for States.
One-of-a-kind program. It's targeting entrepreneurship centers and incubators all over Egypt. More than 30 entrepreneurship centers based in 30 different universities are coming here today to the main premises of the League of Arab States in Cairo. And the main objective is we're launching a 6-month program for those entrepreneurship centers to build their capacity of the incubators and the centers and the management to get a sense of the best practices worldwide in entrepreneurship.
The program included advanced training sessions with international and local experts in supporting the entrepreneurship system. The 3 best universities will be selected to obtain advanced individual sessions in addition to opportunities to obtain financial support.
It's a very outstanding cooperation, I would say. As I mentioned previously today, over 10,000 Egyptian entrepreneurs have been supported in the last 10 years through U.S.-supported programs that are facilitated by USAID. And every one of these entrepreneurs has created jobs, has contributed to greater innovation in Egypt. And we're committed to continuing to support the Egyptian private sector, Egyptian universities like the Arab Academy, and the Egyptian government.
The first international conference was announced in Egypt and the Arab world, which included centers from different countries of the world. Huge efforts are exerted by the Arab League in order to increase the skills and talents of managers and members of the entrepreneurship centers in universities for the sake of creating successful programs in the centers. Basma Taha for Nile TV International.
Thank you, Basma. Israeli occupation troops killed a Palestinian in the West Bank